Dr. Jennifer Bird. I'm a biblical scholar, and I care about what people do with what they find in scriptures. And I'm doing a bit of a series on reading the things attributed to Jesus through political and economic lenses. I think it happens to make a lot of the things he says and does, in particular at the end, once he's in Jerusalem for that last week, it tends to make these stories make more sense. At least they do for me. I was raised and spent a good bit of my adult life, or the early years of my adult life, reading these things through a spiritual lens. So I would see a spiritual meaning, or I would read these things as being about God and the people, and instead of seeing that Jesus is talking about real people's lives and the corruption and exploitation that they were being subject to. Last week, I read the story about the vineyard, the man who plants a vineyard and mistreats the tenants, so forth and so on. The very next story then, in Luke chapter 20, starting in verse 20. So at the end of his vineyard story, the scribes and the chief priests knew that he was critiquing them. So it's very clear, even in the gospel itself, that Jesus is talking about very real things that were happening, and the exploitation of the poor by some of the leadership, all of the leadership, whatever, in the temple in Jerusalem. So he's just made this proclamation against them, and they wanted to lay hands on him at that very hour, but they were afraid because of the crowds who are in Jerusalem the week of Passover. The very next story then. So they watched him and sent spies who pretended to be honest in order to trap him by what he said, so as to hand him over to the jurisdiction and authority of the governor. So they asked him, "Teacher, we know that you are right in what you say and teach, and you show deference to no one, but teach the way of God in accordance with truth." They're buttering him up, right? "Is it lawful for us to pay taxes to the emperor or not?" But he perceived their craftiness and said to them, "Show me a denarius. Whose head and whose title does it bear?" They said, "The emperor's." He said to them, "Then give to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's." And they were not able, in the presence of the people, to trap him by what he said, and being amazed by his answer, they became silent. Okay, why is it a trap? Why is this a trap? "Teacher, is it lawful for us to pay taxes or not?" The thing is, the issue isn't whether it's lawful. That's the point. He's angry about the amount. He's angry that they're charging more than they should be charging. He's angry that they are fleecing the people. He's angry that the wealthy can manage these taxes. It's not a big deal to them, and the majority of the people are being wiped out. That's what he's angry about. So they're asking intentionally the wrong question. They know what he's angry about, and they try to trick him. So is it okay? Should we not be paying taxes? Is it not lawful to be, paying taxes? Is that the problem? That's not the problem. Right? So he shifts it around. Show me a denarius. Whose head is it? Right? What is it? Pay the emperor what is the emperor's, and give to God the things that are God's. And, one might know from a Jewish perspective, he's thinking of things like, what does God require of you? But to walk justly and love mercy and, walk humbly with your God. Or, the things that are of God's are the essence of the covenant, which is to worship God and to love your neighbors yourself, right? That's what's, and you're not doing that. You guys are missing the point, and you're not doing that. It's a really powerful segment and moment that I think people misunderstand, because they're not reading these things attributed to Jesus through this basic lens of his mission is about political and economic injustice. Right? See you next time.